Hello, and welcome to Tales from the Twists, the podcast where we recap your childhood. My name is Joseph Lewis, and I'm joined today by my co-host, as I am every week, the glorious, the wondrous, the something or other else's, Anthony Bull.
Oh, hello, Joe. Well, thank you for that wonderful introduction. It was very, adjective-y, I guess I want to say.
If you're listening for the first time,
Yes.
you've probably heard some words that you don't know what they are.
Yeah.
Welcome to the club.
Welcome
I
to the
also
club,
don't know
mate.
what those words mean.
What, adjectively?
Adjectively.
I don't know. It's when something is very adjectivistic.
This is a podcast where we talk about 90s television shows, 90s, early 2000s television shows, late 80s as well. We are here to talk about Round the Twist, episode 10 of season 3, Tears of Innocence. Now, Tears of Innocence, had you seen this one before, Anthony? Any initial thoughts before we get knee deep in the tears of the innocent?
I had not seen it before.
You had not?
I had not. When I was first told this by a certain twisty, his name being Hayden Redding, it being one of his favourite shows, we all thought, he thought he was pulling a leg,
Yep.
Wasn't real, but it was real, and it was great. It was kind of cool, But I don't remember this episode. I thought I would have remembered this one.
I didn't realise I had seen it when Hayden was talking about it.
Yes.
But it turns out that I actually have seen this episode. I did notice that I remembered a couple of scenes.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, but in this episode, Bud Tingwell, famous Australian actor, now I believe dead. I'm
Yes.
not sure. Is he dead?
He's very dead.
He's very dead? Or
He's
just
very
a little
dead.
bit?
He's pretty dead.
He is some amount of dead. He is in this episode, the guy who played most notably the lawyer man
In the castle?
in the castle, yes. And he in this episode plays a rainmaker who's best friends with a leprechaun. Or, I say best friends, but they, who knows what their relationship is and who's to judge?
I personally think that they're business partners.
Okay.
Like, I read into this throughout the entire episode that they were business partners, scamming people and exploiting children.
They're con men.
Con men, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
kind of like con men. Yeah.
Kind of like con men.
Like, maybe they aren't. Like, the guy does actually make it rain, we'll tell you that later. But at the end of the episode, it's like, oh, it's a little bit dodgy. Like, sure, the results of them getting their rewards did actually help out the whole city. But it was kind of dodgy how they went about doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's dive into the episode itself and go through it piece by piece, and let's pull it apart like the verbal mechanics that we are.
I was going to say like a pulled pork burger or something.
Like a pulled pork.
Yeah. What is up with that?
All of a sudden,
Yeah.
everyone loves it. 2 years ago, pulled pork. It wasn't a thing.
And you know what?
Now it's everywhere. It's
know
like
what's
salted caramel.
You know what's bullshit?
What?
Yeah, salted caramel, right? What the fuck?
Where did that come from?
Yeah, like that. But, pulled pork is bullshit because most people just shred the pork and it's like, oh, it was pulled pork. And it's like, did you really pull the pork? I mean, how do you pull pork? Do you just, is it supposed to cook to the point where you're supposed to pull it off the bone?
Yeah, it's supposed to be cooked to the point where it just falls apart and you just pull it off.
I doubt they do that.
No, they don't. They just shred it.
Yeah, makes more sense.
The other thing, coleslaw.
Yeah.
When did that become a big thing? We've been having coleslaw in our family for generations. And it was not just cabbage on a burger. That's not coleslaw.
No, it's
Put some mayonnaise in that
get
coleslaw.
some of the bloody mayonnaise in there. Don't give me this bullshit.
Also,
traditional crap.
Stop calling it slaw.
Slaw?
It's a 2-syllable word. You don't need to shorten it to one.
I don't know. Give me some slaw. I love some slaw.
At the beginning of the Round Twist episode, we start off with this teaser. And this tells us a little bit about what to expect in the episode. Usually a little bit different this week, though. We get Pete, and he's batting at a cricket game. And Gribble, the young Gribble, is bowling. And he's saying, quack, quack. How many times you been out for a duck, Twist? Is it 16 or 17? Chimes in Tiger. And Snap is refereeing, the noble Snapper.
Mm-hmm. Well, noble. That's questionable after this episode.
Well, noble up to this point.
Yeah.
Slap me sideways and tickle me cod. It's Snapper.
Exactly.
And Bud Tingwell appears in the background, and he's dressed as a hobo.
He's just standing there.
He's just standing in the middle of the cricket pitch.
Watching the children play. And that's not creepy at all.
It is not creepy for a homeless man to show up at a beachside cricket game and speak to the batsman.
Yep.
And he says, relax and hit it to me. Something that could not be in any way interpreted as being anything out of the ordinary.
Yeah, who's this random homeless guy? I just want to hit. Maybe Pete just wanted to hit the homeless guy with a cricket ball.
That is a high possibility, yes.
Maybe.
And Pete smashes it, and it goes in the ocean. And then Pete looks at the camera a bit confused, and we get the title, Tears of Innocence. Did you like the way that they did this? Because usually it's kind of abstract.
Yeah.
In this season, it has sometimes been a part of the
I
plot
did.
of the episode. You liked the way that they did this.
Yeah.
The actual episode
Yeah.
and the teaser.
I did like it because at least like they moved away from a lot of the ones where it's just like, oh, it's a title card and it's not
Yeah.
related. This one I like because it fits with the story. But the problem was it greatly implies that Pete and the Rainmaker knew each other before they knew each other, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's like, he's not like, who's this person? He had this sort of relaxed, I trust this guy attitude to the Rainmaker. And it's like, you don't know him. If a random person was standing on the sideline and goes, hit it to me, you go, okay, I'll try my best to hit it to you, but you wouldn't be you wouldn't have those feelings towards that person.
Yeah.
So that was the only issue I had with it.
Something that I might talk about a little bit later is that I thought this episode could have been a film. Like, I feel like you could have taken this general concept of what was happening and made it into a film.
Yeah, it worked like a film. Like, it was, it had the character, he had his belief, whatever, standard, you tell me the standard film's history, hero story, not hero's journey, whatever it is.
Do you remember that film, this children's film, where it's called The Gift, and it used to play on repeat all the time, where this child got a VCR?
No.
Yeah, and he could watch basically the future.
No, I don't remember that. It sounds really
And they
interesting.
could tell like what was going to happen in the lottery and stuff, and at the end of the episode, the gift is passed on to somebody else, and it's in the form of something else. But I felt it was a little bit in that realm, like the way it was presented, not so much the content. But we begin the actual episode itself, and Pete is walking home with Linda and Bronson. And apparently he got 76 runs, which is quite a lot for a children's game.
It was 72
game of cricket.
runs.
Well, I've written down 76, so either I or you is wrong.
Then we'll have to go back and
I'm
fact check.
erring on the side of me being correct, because
That's
when have
fine.
you ever been factual?
That's true. I'm rarely factual. Often I will miss things. And also, I don't really understand how cricket works.
Do you not understand how cricket works? It's fairly simple.
It's pretty simple, but I don't
hit
really
the ball,
understand the appeal
you
of
run,
cricket.
And every step that you take, you get 3 runs. So
See, there you go. I did not even know that. What, really?
No.
No, okay, fuck. I'm like, what? Every time you run, you get 3 runs. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What the
It's like...
That doesn't make any sense. Why is it not...
It's like football. A try is 4 points.
It should just be 1 point. Right.
Well, it should be 3 points.
Because it's 3, yeah.
Because it's a try.
Yeah, because it's 3, but I get that. I don't know, I just don't really get cricket. Don't see the appeal.
No, neither do I. I don't get the appeal for many sports.
Yes,
the only...
cricket is the main one. I'm not knocking anyone who likes cricket. That's fine. I just don't get it. It's 4 hours of guys standing around.
My
Going
God.
like this. Oh, yeah. Oh, hey, stay there. And then they run sometimes, and then sometimes they catch the ball.
And sometimes they don't run.
Except
when they do.
Except when they do, yeah.
Gribble approaches, and he gives Linda a rose, and she says, okay. And Pete laughs, and the twists leave. And Gribble, he still loves her, and he thinks it's a good sign, because obviously he's still under the spell of the Viking Book of Love.
Yep.
And cut to Lighthouse. Back at the lighthouse, Faye and Tony are making out, because Faye has brought Tony a glass of water, and Faye says, next time, I'll bring a jug.
You do. Oh, you...
Yeah, this you know, the sexual overtones or undertones or tones has always been quite heavy in Round the Twist, but never... I think this is one of the more, super overt ones. It's like, calm down, Espen Storm, I know you're not writing as much in season 3, but calm your socks, mate.
He wrote this one, didn't he?
Did he?
I think he might have wrote and directed
I usually make notice
of
who wrote and directed the episodes, but not this week.
It's hard to I'd love to. We should have checked that, but before we start the podcast. But
well, there's a lot of things that we should and shouldn't do.
Yeah. I should. You know what I should do? Because when I ask for pontifications and stuff, I should literally put it in the post notes. Because while I'm there, I usually just go to the Wikipedia page and go,
yes,
just grab it. I should just literally grab the writer and director of the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to do that from now on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anthony is talking about the fact that if you want to contribute to the episode, you can go on our Facebook group, Chicken Twisties, and contribute there like a lot of our listeners do. Like one of our listeners, whose name is Regan Pontillo.
Yes.
And he writes in every time we do a Around the Twist episode for Pontillo's Pontifications. And just tangenting a little bit,
Yes.
Pontillo has written in this week with a bunch of feedback, and he loves Bud Tingwell. And he loves this episode.
Who doesn't love Bud Tingwell?
And he says, Derek the Rainmaker, portrayed by Bud Tingwell, rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
Rip in peace. He was born in 1923 and died in 2009. So he is quite dead.
Yes.
Yeah. Veteran actor of the film and TV industry. He's known for many roles. And Pontillo says, my most memorable roles of Bud were in this episode. The Castle, 1997, as we mentioned, and a miniseries inside of ABC's The Late Show, which ran from 92 to 93, called Charlie the Wonder Dog, where he played Gramps. Charlie the Wonder Dog episodes are available for viewing on YouTube.
Huh.
Maybe one day we can do a Charlie the Wonder Dog podcast.
Maybe. Now,
also, while looking through his IMDb history, he noticed that Bud's next appearance after this episode was in a movie called Innocence, which is interesting.
I was going to mention that.
This episode is called Tears of Innocence.
I was going to mention that. I wrote that down. I looked it up because, and weird thing was, I looked it up because I was wondering about what Faye and Tony had saw, because I didn't see Practical Magic a few episodes ago.
Yes.
So I was like, oh, maybe they went and saw Innocence instead. And that was, I don't know, came up. But
yeah.
I don't know. Now that I know that it was actually after this episode, because I was matching up the timelines, and I was like, oh, was this one come before or after? So
Faye, she says goodbye to Tony, and she rides off to go work at the CFA on her bicycle. Very efficient way to get to work.
Yeah,
And
it's good for your health, I guess.
it's good for your core, mate.
Yeah. It keeps you healthy.
Keeps that
and remember,
core strength.
This was before she's a pioneer. This is before everyone else got into the bloody bicycle trend. You know?
Ride your bike to work day.
Yeah, I can't ride my bike to work.
Why?
Because I work in the city.
How long would it take you to ride to work?
If I literally rode to the city,
Yes.
okay, from where I am,
Yes.
avoiding public transport, because
Yes.
that's ride to work. No, that's bullshit. Oh, I'm taking my bus, my thing to the train. No. Ride to work is ride to work, okay?
Yeah.
Like 2.5, 3 hours, 4 hours probably, because I'd have to stop and rest because I'd be so tired. No, it would take me an entire day because I'd be so tired. I would not be able to ride 30 kilometers.
It's not 30 kilometers, is it? It's more than that.
Yeah, it's more than that. Yeah, right? It's huge amounts.
It's like 40 or 50.
Now, if, however, I tie my bike to someone's car.
Yes.
Okay.
The Marty McFly
Marty McFly
cycling.
method. Yeah.
Yes.
The very dangerous method as well, with like a quick release cable, so when someone breaks, I can
Yeah.
just unhook it. I might get there faster.
Okay.
But I might die, so, you know.
Tony says, see ya, Faye, and Pontillo notes that as we see Faye walk away, she has the CFA logo on the back of her overalls, and he says CFA is the same as CFA.
Yeah, I picked that up as well.
I did not pick that up.
I wrote CFA, ... CFA, joke maybe, question mark, and Pontillo picked it up as well. So I was like, yeah, you know what? I reckon it is a pun.
Yeah, the Ponster says that it's possibly the best Round the Twist pun in his opinion.
I reckon it is too, actually. It's very good. It's so good that some people don't even notice it.
Yeah, great. Yeah, good. Bud Tingwell arrives, and so do Tony's children, and he's trying to touch a cactus here. He's just putting his hands all over the cactus. It's like,
Yes,
hold on, mate. Get your hands off that phallic object.
And also, mate, that's not your cactus. Right, like he goes around touching people's cactuses. Look, maybe you like that guy from ABC's Gardening Australia.
Oh yeah, just needs to touch cactuses.
No, you ever seen the guy from Costa, whatever his name is? Sometimes he'll just go into people's gardens and he'll like dig up there like a root or a sapling, and he'll just take it. He'll be like, "Oh, don't worry, I'll replant this in my garden." I'm like, "Do you have permission to go in that guy's garden?" Like, I understand that you believe in nature and all that stuff, but that was a man's front yard.
Classic Costa.
I could be like, I wake up one day and I see Costa just digging through my garden, just trying to get like the bulbs or something. I'm like, oi, get your own damn bulbs. And he's got his massive beard and it's just dragging along.
Apparently, the drifter's name is Derek. Great name for a drifter, and he is a drifter.
Yes.
And he
likes to walk alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's looking for work of any kind. He's a traveller, miner, riverboat captain, water diviner, harvester of rain. He's captured the wind, and touched the sun. Pete's very impressed. Tony asks him to weed the garden. He says, all right, I can do that. And Bronson says, how do you design water?
Well, yeah, it's a good question. How do you design water? A budding chemist.
I don't know. I guess you need to be a deity of some form.
Well, here's the thing. Like, he speaks all languages, right?
Yes.
He's traveled all across the seas. Right? He's mined for gold, and that's irrelevant. Who cares?
Yes.
He's tilled the earth, irrelevant. Divined water, irrelevant. But what was the other one again? It was after that.
Harvested the rain, touched the sun.
Touched the sun, all that crap. Now, leave all that stuff out. Just lead with this. I speak all languages, and I've travelled across the seas and lands.
Are you trying to be C-3PO, or are you trying to get a job here?
Well, you can get a job anywhere. Hi, I speak a lot of languages. Oh, really? Do you? Yes. Well, you could work in the airport. You ever considered going to an airport and saying, hi, I speak a whole bunch of languages. Do you need someone who can interpret a whole bunch of languages in case there's situations where you need someone to translate? Yes, I would. We really need that because we're in an airport and there's tons of people from different cultures. So go to a fucking airport.
Yes.
Don't go weeding. You're selling yourself short, Bud Tingwell, but remember, he's a con artist.
Yeah, okay.
Well, not Bud Tingwell, sorry. Derek's a con artist. Bud Tingwell is an amazing actor who carries this
He's a good guy.
He carries this entire episode.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, he does.
Don't you go talking bad about the dead, Anthony.
Look, no. Bud Tingwell, in this episode, it's like watching someone who is a really great actor surrounded by people who are not great actors. And I'm thinking to myself, shit, this guy is just, like, when he's on screen, he's very good. It's very clear that he raises the entire caliber of the cast just by being there.
So it's like watching an Australian film that Willem Dafoe just shows up in.
Yeah. Or Hugh Jackman's in it, and he's the only good actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The rest of them they found in a shopping centre.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
And Derek's answer to Bronson's question, how do you design water, is, he says, you divine the earth for water, and you milk the sky for rain.
Okay. How do you milk the sky? That's going to be my next question.
Do you think that water divining is a real thing?
No.
In your opinion?
No.
I've seen it.
It's make-believe.
It's real.
You mean the guy gets a stick and it's like,
yeah,
it's made up.
It's real.
It's fake.
It's real.
No, it's that. It's
real.
You know they've done tests on that, right?
Yeah.
Like they did blind tests where they had like these water divine people, right?
Yeah. Go
across the boxes and try to find where the water was.
You can't do it in a box. It's got to be underground.
Well, they tried doing it and they're like, oh, it's in this box. Turns out none of the boxes had any water in it. They all guessed that each box had water in it. None of the boxes had water.
It's got to be underground. The water's got to be underground. And you feel the twinge.
That's bullshit. It's make-believe. It's hocus pocus.
It's not make-believe.
Yeah, it's hocus pocus.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's real. And Pete says, are you a rainmaker? And Derek says, no one believes in that anymore. And if no one believes in you, you can't hit a 6.
So you can divine water and do all these other amazing things. Oh, but rainmaking. No, nobody believes in rainmaking anymore. It's like, so that's the only conditional power, or is every other power you have conditional?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Faye's running the CFA raffle somewhere else. She's raising money for the CFA, I guess.
Yeah.
She's got some kind of fire engine here. And Snap clearly loves her and wants to read her a poem. And Faye goes, no. She knows what's about to happen. And she says, Ralph, you make me feel sick. And Snapper reads the poem, and she loves him now because of the spell. And we cut to Gribble, the young Gribble, James Gribble, and the spell is broken on him, and he's now free.
Yep. Pretty, I don't know if Snapper knew this was a magic poetry book, right?
Yes.
I assumed he thought it was a poetry book that was really powerful and seemed to work, and that might compel her to love her in the same way that might be like, oh wow, this is going to change her opinion. But still, even doing that to a person who is, they're married, right? They are married. It's hard to track these guys, but I'm fairly confident they are married now. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. To do that to a married woman is quite disgusting, you know? To even try to, like, seduce a married woman openly with a book of poetry that you think, hey, they might win on your side. No, Snapper, please. No. Not your time, right? When their marriage is on the rocks or something, then you can be like a little lizard and you can sit on the rocks or something, watching sunbaking, waiting for their marriage to dissolve. And then you can slide in like a serpent and be like, oh, Faye, that Tony, he's a bad guy. And, pick him up there. Not whether they're happily married, you evil bastard.
Snapper,
you wanker.
Fish, please. Mr. Snapper, he uses the Viking Book of Love on Faye. This is Pontillo, by the way, and he knows full well of its capabilities because you said that he kind of doesn't, but he does. He did see it in action in the classroom.
You know what happened, but I don't think he knows that it's magic.
Pontillo says it's pretty immoral to make someone fall in love with you who is under the following circumstances: A, is already in a loving relationship with someone, and B, doesn't show any feelings towards you whatsoever. Faye knows what's about to happen, but unfortunately doesn't leave in time. Shame on you, Ralph.
Yeah, shame on you, Ralph.
Where's the freedom and democracy now, mate?
You should go to prison or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
She probably should go to prison. I'm sure there's a law against that.
Well, it's... What basically happens later in the episode is the R word.
Well, sort of does. It forcibly makes someone fall in love with you against their will.
Does that count as consent?
It's like Stockholm Syndrome, right?
Yeah.
Basically, kind of. You held a hostage with but instead of with chains, it was with like a magic spell.
It's not going to hold up in the magical court of law, though.
No, because it's like the court of law would be like, you have to prove that magic actually happens first.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'd be like, well, okay. Derek, can you come back and make some rain? And he comes in late and I'm like, okay, this is not going to work. All right, fine. We'll have to find another avenue of criminal law.
Have you been tracking the uses of the Book of Love? Were you still tracking that?
No, dude, it's too hard. It's way too hard.
Yeah.
It's way too hard. There's too much happening.
Okay.
It's exactly...
I believe we're towards the end of that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like,
we're going to start getting on to our curses soon.
If the reason why I don't track it is because I track it in my notes. I don't track it in a separate page.
Yeah.
And I have like a shitload of notes.
Yeah.
So it's like I have to basically pour through all of my notes in order to find it. It's why I don't track whether or not Captain Planet's theories are true anymore, because it's like there's too many to bloody.
So basically what you're saying is you're unorganized.
I'm unorganized.
Back at the lighthouse, Linda is slowly coming around to Gribble. She thinks, oh, he's not a bad guy. The phone rings. It's Gribble. And she picks it up.
Yeah.
And he says, you're as ugly as a dog and you're dropped. Woof, woof.
That made me feel really sad for Linda. I thought they had like some genuine, even though the love was there, I thought there was some genuine loveness between the two. And, I thought Gribbs kind of liked her anyway.
No, he was always chasing Fiona.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Shit, Gribbs, just go with there's nothing wrong with Linda. Just go for what you can get, mate. Seriously, you've already got it. Just go for it.
I don't know if this was I assume it was a thing when this was made, but dog is actually really rude insult to call a girl.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually really rude.
Yeah, well, it's really rude to call... Yeah, it is.
I saw that new Hunger Games movie last night. Did not enjoy it, by the way. But
Hunger Games?
There's a bad guy in it. I've only seen the first one and the last one, so there were bits that I didn't know what was going on, and there's these things called mutts that are kind of like zombies. And it's like, do they know what that means?
What
like,
mutts?
Because one of the characters calls another character a mutt at one point. Have you heard that?
No.
Maybe you just haven't been around enough young people lately, but mutt is like a really rude way of saying like slut, basically. It's like it's super derogatory. It's like one of the worst things that you can say about a girl. That actually makes
a lot of sense, kind of, although it doesn't. It makes more sense that it implies that your mother's a massissive slut.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense that you would be a slut because
it's really offensive. If you call somebody a mutt, it's really offensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, then. There you go.
Gribble and friends, they're celebrating because they're like, yeah, F that B. Because we're bros.
We're bros, man.
We don't like the girls.
Bros before hoes. Let's all have a big gay hug together.
And Linda's a bit sad.
Yeah. And she would be, because she felt genuine feelings, and now she's dashed,
Pete walks along the cliff in the most cinematic moment ever on Round the Twist and sees Derek's camp. And a leprechaun is trying to persuade Derek to try something.
Yep.
So this is why I think their relationship's a bit more than meets the eye. What are you trying to persuade him of here, mate?
Is Derek the top or the bottom? Is that what you're implying?
You don't have to go that far. Pete sees the leprechaun and it disappears. Pete thanks Derek for the 6 that he hit, and the leprechaun reappears, and apparently he isn't scared of Pete, even though he just was. So Pete must be an innocent.
What does that mean? Does
I don't
mean
know.
a virgin?
Don't really I don't know, maybe. We don't really come back to this, though.
That's the only qualifications I know of from any, type of...
horror movie?
Well, yeah, also, any civilization is, an innocent or whatever. It's usually a virgin. Or it's somebody who hasn't killed somebody, I guess.
But then
most people wouldn't have killed people.
Pete then replies, he says, you can talk. You're so small. I don't know what that has to do with innocence. I didn't get it. Is he... I don't know. Maybe it's a height thing or something. Maybe he's implying that the leprechaun's not getting any because he's so short. Because women don't like short people, apparently. This is a thing that I've learned.
Maybe he's just trying to find up an insult. Maybe he thought innocence is an insult, right?
Yes.
So he's just like, you're short. Oh, really? Oh, and you're blonde. And the guy would be like, well, you're wearing green. Oh, and then the leprechaun would have been really offended. And it's like, how dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you?
The leprechaun grabs Pete's shirt and he says, I'm very tall for a leprechaun. What do you want anyway? And Pete says, how do you make it rain? And the leprechaun comes down. He says, we'd all like to know that, wouldn't we? And Derek says, you need faith. You need to be in tune with the elements, and you need a primer, like dew from a cactus rose, might have been why he was feeling up the cactus.
Yeah, might have been, yeah.
Or tears of innocence, or mist from the Hidden Valley. Where's the Hidden Valley?
Hidden Valley is right outside of Prim.
Sure. Pete says, this is a rough drought. You have to try and make it rain. So apparently they're in a drought.
Yeah,
I've got no indication
I wrote that
of this.
down. I was like,
since when?
I was like, yeah, there's a drought. I did not know about this. They never mentioned that it's a drought.
Why don't you set this up at the start of the episode?
Or at the start of a season, even after like a couple of episodes ago. Geez, it hasn't rained in a while. You know, a couple of lines like that. Maybe a news report. You remember when they swapped bodies and there was a news report about he's watching the stocks?
Yeah.
It could have moved to the weather, and then the weather chin could have just been like, you know, and it's been 3 weeks and no rain or something, you know, something mentioning that. And then we could look back and go, oh my gosh, there was droughts throughout. No. It's just, there's a drought now, guys. Lol.
I'm pretty sure it has definitely rained in some of these episodes. Like the one where the lightning strikes the cameraman.
Yeah, well, why else would the lightning be there? So, I'm going to say it's probably correct.
Yeah. The leprechaun says, too right, this rainmaker is afraid of water, though. So that's a problem. And Derek storms off. Is he afraid of water? Or is he just afraid?
He's afraid
of failure.
Yeah, he's afraid of failure. That's probably right.
He storms off, kind of brushes past the leprechaun, and the leprechaun says, make way for the little people.
Well, hang on. Wait, what? You just said that you weren't little.
Yeah.
Now you're like, oh, wait, hang on. I want to be entitled now. So make way. Beep, 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 beep.
Yeah.
I've got my little disability sticker. I could park at the front of the bloody shopping center. It's got a little leprechaun on it or something. Like, it's got a 4-leaf clover on it, right?
Yeah.
And he can park wherever he wants because he's a little leprechaun.
I was somewhere the other day.
Yes.
And there was this, how can I say this without offending people? Stuff it. There was this larger woman parked in a disabled spot.
Yeah.
And she didn't have a disabled sticker on her car.
Yeah.
Does being fat enable you to park in the disabled spot? Does that count as a disability? It wasn't like super obese, like you're about to die.
Yeah.
But she was just a bit larger.
Well, it depends. Did she seem to have trouble walking?
No.
Then no, probably not.
Yeah.
Like, imagine that you know what? No. You just need a sticker. You must have a sticker.
Yeah,
it's
you
just,
do
just,
need
just
a
as
sticker.
simple as that. Even if you're an old person, if you don't have a sticker, you still technically can't park there. Even though I can understand why an old person should be parking there.
You know the Coles in town? There's like a million different, like, disabled parking-esque ones. There's like prams here, small children here, like old people here. It's like, where's the young people designated parking area? Just park where you get.
No.
It's a big car park. It's never ever been full. It's like, why do they need to have prioritized parking for every type of minority ever?
I think it's good for them. I think it's good from them, and this is just tangent on something else. This is a good demonstration of a private enterprise, you know, basically catering towards the target audience.
Yeah.
And basically going, look, mothers with prams, one, they kind of screw up everyone else's cars because they need a lot of space. And, you know, it's fair enough. I can understand that. But whatever, kids, because they want them to get into the store as fast as possible, but also feel catered for and feel like, you know, I'm welcome here because the ones with the big families spend the most money because
that's true.
Coincidentally, they have the largest shopping to do. You and me, we'd spend maybe what? If we shop for ourselves, spend maybe $120 a week. Max. If that. Maybe it's like 2 weeks every $150.
Yeah.
Parents, bloody with kids, like $300, $350 a week more than that. Just for their family.
Packets of chips and cartons of soft
So
drink.
if I'm owning a supermarket, boom, I want you. I want more of you, and I want you to feel like you're welcome
and
here.
Less of
and
us.
not in bloody Woolworths, where Woolworths will be like, oh, we don't give you priority parking. Well, fuck Woolworths, I'm going to go to Coles. That's what I'd do.
The leprechaun tells Pete that Derek has lost his confidence and needs Pete to believe in him. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell the government, because they'll listen to you about leprechaun magic.
Yeah, tell the government they will listen to you about that. They will not like make you fill out forms and then not get back to you about it.
Pete, for the maybe third or fourth time this season, agrees to something he doesn't fully understand. I think that's the moral we can take away here. Pete, you know, think about what you're doing.
Is that probably part of his innocence though?
No, maybe.
And that's why I think as well, con man at the end of the episode, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
More.
Faye comes home excited and she says, something terrible has happened. But maybe it's good too. And Tony's like, oh, okay, what's happened? And she says, I've fallen in love with Ralph Snapper. And Tony loses it. He laughs so hard and he says, don't be so cruel. He's an idiot. But he can't help it. And Faye's not joking. And she says, I'm moving out. And later on, inside the lighthouse, the whole family's laughing about it. And Faye's leaving. She's packed her bag. She's leaving. And no one believes her. They all just think it's a massive joke. And Linda says, why'd you choose Snapper? He's an emotional mutant, a mental blank, a human non-event. This is your teacher, Linda. Show some respect.
Not only that, that's another human being. It's pretty,
Yeah, who's the emotional mutant now, you disgusting human individual?
Yeah, it's just, like, hang on, weren't you being attacked and called a dog or whatever?
Yeah.
You need to get out your hatred and your anger on someone else? Come on.
Birth of a bully.
Even if someone was ugly or awful, it's like, you don't go around bad-mouthing him to the extent that she was doing. Like,
A human non-event.
Especially her. She's not, like, a bitch. That's the thing, she doesn't come off as a bitch.
No.
So she wouldn't do this. But then she just like, oh no, he's a non-event. It could have just been like, why Snapper?
He's our teacher. It's gross.
No, it's also like, he's really not that interesting. And he's not that,
I think Snapper, apart from this episode, Snapper's a pretty cool guy.
He can be, but it's not like...
He has a big feast.
Also, an assumption that he's not... He could have just said, he's not your type. It could have been just that. It's like, yeah, he's not your type. If you're interested in Tony, chances are Snapper, who is completely different to Tony, is not your type.
I don't actually think they're that different. They're both artistic sort of guys, bit sensitive, you know... Bit of a mean streak sometimes.
One's pompous, the other's more emotional.
I guess.
And maybe that's what Faye likes. I don't know, whatever.
Faye says, I know, but you haven't heard his poetry. And Linda is triggered. And she's like, oh. And she knows it's going on the Viking Book of Love.
Yeah.
And
shit just got real moment.
And Faye gives Tony back his key and leaves. And Tony says, I see an abyss. And he's really sad now. And Linda tells Tony about the Book of Love. And Tony says, I still see an abyss. Now...
You know what I see?
What?
I see Faye and Snapper getting it on later.
That is what I see too. But you know what I also see?
What?
Linda is the worst person around.
Why?
Okay. Oh, it's just the Viking Book of Love. Let's not do anything about it. No, this is where you stage a mission to steal back the Book of Love and use it on somebody else.
This should have been the episode, actually.
Yes.
The episode should have been, oh my gosh, Faye is like in a lot of trouble because it's a ticking clock.
Yeah.
Even for a child, like it could have just been, they're going to kiss eventually and they can't kiss. For an adult, it's like, they're totally going to bang soon. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's a given. They need to stop that because it's going to queer the relationship later on. Let's get the Book of Love. Let's break into Snapper's apartment with using the help of the leprechaun or the magic whatever. And then it shouldn't have been the Tears of Innocence. It should have been a leprechaun helped them do this. They get in, they get the Book of Love, they rescue it by some magic thing that makes someone else fall in love with themselves. Maybe it's like a local newscaster who idolizes himself, falls in love with himself the same way that Gribbs did in the earlier episode.
Yeah.
It's like, we know that works. And boom, saves Faye from a mistake.
Yeah. Instead, she just does nothing for the rest of the episode.
Yep.
Because obviously that's what next episode is about.
She must hate her father or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. Who knows?
Maybe she wants to break up this... maybe she realizes how good his art is when Faye's not around.
We always think that Bronson is the love antagonist. Maybe it's secretly Linda.
Maybe it has been Linda. Maybe Linda has been pushing Bronson. Maybe she's been manipulating and pulling his strings.
She's so jaded from the whole Viking incident in the start of the series that she just wants to destroy everyone else's relationships.
Hey, it might even be that she is probably one of the few people who remembers... She and Pete would remember their original mother. Bronson probably wouldn't because obviously too young. And she as a woman, maybe she's like, oh, I'm worried about this other woman will come in and, hurt my father the same way this other woman has hurt my father before.
My actual mother.
My actual mother has hurt my father before significantly. I'm worried about this. I'm going to let this play out.
On the beach, Gribbs trying to sell some land to an Asian man.
And this, I thought, was very good in terms of not being racist. In the same way that it used to be in episode...
Whoa!
Yeah, Wonderpants episode, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I was like, wow, okay, so I guess they turned down the racism. Cool. But later on, I am proven that they didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Gribbs, he's saying, this is where I can see the Feng Shui Citadel. And he says, this is Australia, it's for sale, and I'm selling it. Very topical considering the free trade agreement that's being considered between Australia and China.
Yeah, it is. Except I think this was this China? I think it's the guy.
It's
the guy
China.
looked Chinese. Yeah.
It's China, yeah. I think.
Yeah, he didn't
I'm pretty sure he looks China.
He did look Chinese. He looked China. He looked Chinese. That guy looked like China.
Yeah,
he just walks around.
He looks like a big square thing.
Yeah.
In the shape of the country.
Yeah.
Pete interrupts and he says, "Oh, excuse me, Mr. Gribble. My friend Derek's a rainmaker." And Gribble's like, "What? What is this kid on? Like,
yeah.
What am I going to... What is your problem? I'm trying to make a deal here." And he's like, "All right." And Pete runs up to Derek and the leprechaun and he says, "The mayor of Port Niranda is going to ask you to make it rain." And Gribble Sr. arrives as well and he meets Derek and he says, "Listen, I want you to do something a little bit different." And the two of them walk away a little bit, Derek and Mr. Gribble, to have a bit of a business chat. Mm-hmm. And the leprechaun appears and he says, "Oh, what's happening?" And Pete says, "Mr. Gribble is offering him a rain job." Okay.
Wonder what those are.
Yeah. And the leprechaun's very happy about this. Strange business relationship here. Back at the lighthouse, Tone's trying to call Faye on the phone. And Pete comes home and he gives his news excited. And there's Nell out of nowhere. And Pete says, Hey, listen, guys. You know, Derek is going to perform his rain dance for Mr. Gribble. It's exciting. And Nell's here. And she says, "Derek has failed before."
Yeah, hang on.
If we could just refer quickly to Pontilla here, he says, Nell has some input about Derek the Rainmaker, which leads us to believe that Derek has possibly been to Port Niranda before and hasn't delivered on his promises. So
yeah, that's what I picked up.
Well, that's basically explicitly what she says. Derek's been here before. He's failed us before.
Yeah.
Is that why he's upset? But apparently he's travelled all around the world. Why would he come back to specifically Port Niranda unless he's drawn here by the magical power of the lighthouse?
Or, maybe he travels around in magic conduits.
Ley lines,
yeah, wherever the connecting nodes of the Atlantean bullshit magic is. Yeah, maybe. But I find it weird, like, because Nell does a Nell's position, and it's like, so does Nell know about this character?
This is it.
Yeah.
That's it. There's no more of that.
Well, I'd like to know more about this. Like, when did it happen? Did it happen when you were a child, or did it happen, like, 20 years ago?
She just knows everything because she's a demon that sucks souls, and she gathers the information.
Maybe she's omnipresent.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't come back here, and maybe it was a case of, I am familiar with him, but I can't say I know this character. I have to say he was here. Because a lot of people know I'm a demon, and they'll shut down my lemon-making facility.
Yeah. Season 3, Nell, possibly biggest disappointment.
Yeah.
Since The Phantom Menace.
Oh, that's... Yeah, fair enough. I mean, pretty shit movie, but...
Pete still believes in Derek, and Tony calls Mr. Snapper-Rapper-Rap, and just laughs at him.
He's not dealing with his emotions all that well.
No, he's in a glass cage of emotion. And Pete tells Bronson and Linda about Derek while they're watching TV, but they don't care. So Pete tries to make it interesting, and he says, "Listen, I'll bet you, Bronson. I'll bet you that Derek does do it." And Bronson says, "Oh, okay, I'll bet you 50 cents."
It's a lot of money for a kid.
Pete takes it, yeah. Lots of money for a 7-year-old.
Big spender.
Yeah, Bronson. Getting better with money.
Kind of.
A little bit.
He doesn't really appreciate, 50 cents is how much it cost him to go see a frog race, 10 years ago?
Yeah.
How much is 50 cents worth now? You should have upped your bet to $2. You're not going to make much money off it.
Linda.
I love this part. Yeah.
Bets him $10.
Yeah,
some real
great.
money.
She was just like, so Pete goes, "Oh, big spender Bronson there." And then Linda just goes, "I bet you $10. And it's like, yes, I like that. I like when she did that. I was just like, oh, fuck yeah. That was a good part of the episode.
They're at the bus stop. Everyone's laughing at Pete, including the Gribble gang, Anthony and Fiona. What are they all doing at this bus stop? Don't they walk to school? We've seen them walk to school so many times. Why at the bus stop together? Why are they all at the same bus stop? Why is it near the lighthouse?
Why is there inconsistencies in the school uniform?
Yeah.
Right? Fiona is wearing the dress thingy, plaid, whatever. But I think Linda is wearing it must be a sports uniform, right?
I have no idea.
Because she's wearing it, so basically...
It's like a Sloppy Joe jumper.
No, she's wearing like a yellow shirt and green skirt.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas Fiona's wearing, what's the type of dress pattern called? It's like a...
I don't know.
It's like checker pattern. No, it's not checker.
Plaid?
No, not plaid. Scottish people have it.
Kilt?
No, that's
tartan.
It's kind of like tartan. It's tartan style. It's a tartan full-length green dress, whereas Linda is yellow shirt, collared shirt, and green skirt. What's the deal with that? Why are there inconsistencies in the uniform? Because the boys all have consistent uniforms.
Yeah.
So is Linda on a sports team that we're not familiar with?
Possibly.
If so, why haven't we been told about this?
No idea. Linda tells everyone about the bet. And Gribble just says, woof woof. What a jerk.
What an
What
ass.
an absolute jerk. Gribble then bets Pete slave rights.
Yes.
For, was it a week?
A week, yes.
Yes. To the victor of whoever wins the bet. So if the rainmaker does make rain, Pete wins. If not, Gribble wins.
Which is illegal under Australian law, probably.
What?
To what? You cannot sell yourself into slavery.
It's not selling yourself into slavery. It's just having like a formal agreement. I will do stuff for you.
For a week
for
without
a week.
pay.
Yeah. That's not illegal.
I'm pretty sure it's illegal. They even use the word slave.
Well, it might be illegal.
I'm sure you could go, hi, this legal contract says I have to be a slave to this person for a week. It
Did
literally says slave, which the I'm sure the Australian Court of Law will say, no, that's not allowed. What they should have said was, you have to be my intern for a week. That would have been just fine.
Oh, you. Everyone arrives at the park because there's a big festival thing on, and the Gribble gang mock Tony and Linda to their faces.
Yep.
And Gribble says the family that gets dumped together stays together. That's horrible. If I was
horrible.
Tony, I'd smack that kid in the face.
Yep. Yeah, I would do that as well.
Tony sees Snapper, and him and Nell just like walk past them. Just like, boo, like give them the cold shoulder.
That
walk
was just,
straight through.
just would have been like
This
an
is-
ice through, like a dagger through his heart.
This is when Linda should be breaking into the house to get the Viking Book of Love.
Or saying something, sticking up for his father, who's very much a wimp. We've already established before. She's pretty a strong character, strong female. She knows stand up for the people you like and love, like your dad, who's clearly, from experience, when he's emotionally down or, when anything relating to Faye, he cannot think straight.
Yeah.
So maybe you should help him out because he's your dad. No, he does a lot for you. He keeps you in your bloody lighthouse with his art. You're not doing anything. Go help him.
Gribble opens the Geranium Festival, and there's all sorts of geraniums here, including, there's one from Oslo, the Jerry Shizler geranium.
There you go.
Everyone's impressed.
Bloody hell.
Why are they having a geranium festival in the drought?
Yeah, in the middle of Port Niranda.
It's like in Toowoomba, they cancelled the Carnival of Flowers because that one year, because they had no water.
Which makes sense because, flowers need water. And they're like, hey, we can't, put water the crops. And it's like, well, that makes sense, Toowoomba. I think that makes a lot of sense that you would cancel something that relies on water.
Gribble hands Pete a list of stuff that he's going to have to do as a slave when he loses, and the main thing on the list that Pete sees is clean out sewage pipes with a toothbrush. More illegality.
Very
Can
illegal.
you force a child to clean out sewage pipes?
Well, yeah, probably not.
Gribble announces that a rainmaker is coming, and Pete opens his umbrella, and everyone's laughing at him. They're like, oh, look at you dickhead. And Derek comes in, and he does an Indian dance, wearing an Indian costume.
Well,
What?
use the other term because it's going to confuse people.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he does a Native American rain dance, wearing a Native American chieftain outfit.
If you say Indian,
And-
he could have just been wearing one of those,
Yeah,
I forget, whatever tribal dress, not common dress they wear.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. And that's what I actually literally thought when you said that, even though I'd seen the episode.
Yeah.
And it's weird, because as I said before, they did it more, there's less racist thing here, they don't have the wah from the Asian guy. But then they have Derek come out dressed as a Native American chief, dancing around doing a rain dance. I'm like, okay, sure, inconsistent, but I guess whatever. I would have liked consistency, to be honest.
Consistency is always a good thing. Gribbs turns to Pete and he says, my mum made that costume. Pete's heartbroken. So is Tony, because he's looking at Faye, and she's in love with Snapper still, because of the Viking Book of Love. And Mr. Gribble says, let there be rain! And he presses a button and these sprinklers shoot out lots of water.
Yeah.
Just wasting water in the middle of a drought. How dare you? And then Bronson says, where's my payment, Pete? He's going to send loan sharks over for
Yeah,
his
he's going to
50
break
cents.
your legs, Yeah, where's the money?
Hey, S.A., where's my money, huh?
And he smashes through up his room with a
Yeah.
baseball bat.
Yeah.
Give me my money!
Yeah.
You don't have my money in 2 weeks, you're dead.
Pete runs away ashamed, and Derek's sad too.
Yeah, well,
You
just broke a child's
Yeah.
heart.
Back at the lighthouse, Pete's really sad. Tony tries to console him and he says, we've both been hurt because we believed in someone. Sometimes all it takes is one person believing in you and you can make it. And I want you to know that I believe in you. And Pete says, I believe in you too.
That was nice. I like
Sure,
I
why
like
not?
that the two stories sort of work together in that way.
Yeah,
But again, still feel that it should have been a separate episode.
sure.
Yeah.
At the hobo camp, the leprechaun's raging at Derek, and Pete comes in, Pete was counting on you. And Derek said, I just needed to make some money to get my shoes fixed. What a jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, mate.
Oh, well, I guess it's fair, though. You were trying to make money. I don't know how easy it is to make money off being an actual rainmaker.
Probably none. You probably make zero money because who's going to pay you to do that? Is Queensland government or Victorian government? You know, is that what they do with our taxes? Or
probably.
They don't get our taxes.
They may as well.
Road fees or GST. They go to bloody rainmakers and be like, please make it rain in the catchment areas. And they dance on the bloody dams to try to get the rain there.
Yeah.
Is that why we're in a drought now? There ain't
we're
no
not
rainmakers?
in a drought now.
Oh, yeah. Here we are.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
No.
Yeah.
Codswallop.
We are in a drought. Man, you got to be paying attention.
No, I don't watch the news.
You don't watch any news. You just keep yourself in a bloody vacuum tube or whatever. Just away from the world.
Vacuum seal myself up.
Don't need that. Yeah.
Pete turns up and he rages too. And Leprechaun and Derek apologise. And Pete says, too bad. And Derek says, too bad no one believes. And Pete says, you're a jerk. I believed in you. And he cries. A tear of innocence. And Derek takes it on his finger. This is really gross. He touches his face with his finger and takes the tear.
Rubs away from his eye is what I wrote down.
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of sexual overtones in this.
Yes.
Like, he was the innocent virgin who had been basically abused and mistrusted by somebody for sexual, what do you call it, gain, I guess? From someone who's more experienced?
I'm not going to back up your gross theories.
It's not a gross theory. It's more like it's more like the loss of innocence of a child who's been led down a path by someone who knows better, right? And it's manipulated their innocence for their own selfish desires.
He takes the tear and he blows it into the sky and creates clouds. And 90s sad, happy, melancholic music plays. And Pete runs home and he tries to get his family to come watch. And the Gribble gang show up to collect their debt. They've got baseball bats. They're ready to, cap some knees. And nobody believes Pete. And it starts to rain. Everyone's happy. And then Pete turns to Gribb and he says, Where's my slavery, son? You're my slave now. And they all start dancing in the rain, except for Gribble, obviously, because he's now got to be Pete's slave.
Mm-hmm.
And Pete runs back to see Derek, but he's gone. But where are they? It's at the base of the rainbow. Their camp was exactly at the base of the rainbow. And Pontillo says that we see at the end of the rainbow, at the exact location of Derek's campsite. Later on in the episode, we discover that this was in fact a pot of gold. Spoilers, Pontillo. It had a pot of gold at the end of it. It might be interesting to discuss if the rainbow had some kind of cosmic significance because it appeared close to the lighthouse where strange things happen when you go around the twist. Mm-hmm. And that's where they were finally able to get a pot of gold. Did the lighthouse cause the rainbow to land in that spot?
Yes, maybe that's why they travelled around then. They realised this is a magic conduit and now we just need a tear of innocence. It fits in with my con man theory.
Okay.
But we got to wait till the end of the episode to hear that because, you just got to wait, man. You just got to wait. Just chill out.
Back to the lighthouse. Pete's given Tiger and Rabbit some clean clothes of his own. And Gribble, he's given some of Bronson's clothes. Because that's what slaves wear, apparently. Clothes that reveal your midriff.
That is exactly how it is. I see all of those all those movies from back in the 17th century or whatever in America, and all the slaves there, they all wear midriff revealing t-shirts. What? That's like the most recent slaves you can think of, right?
Well,
other than the ones that are currently existing in the world today.
I usually think when I think of slaves, I usually think of like Israelite slaves.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I don't. I think
Egyptian slaves. I think Roman slaves.
I think of the black slaves because they're the most commonly used ones in media because it just is. We have a lot of American influence. We should be thinking about the modern slaves who are in what's his name? Qatar and stuff, building shit and trying to repay their debts.
Yeah, but nobody listens about that.
They should.
Nobody knows about that.
They should.
I didn't know about that.
You should.
The only thing I know about Qatar is that there was a military base there in Transformers 1. And they get effed up by the helicopter transformer that blows all the stuff up.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's in Qatar. Yeah. So that's my geographical knowledge for the week.
I did not know that. Yeah, there you go.
Linda decides to collect slavery for Pete, and she tells Gribble he has to talk like a dog.
And wear a dog collar.
Yeah, be a dog.
Yep.
And Pontillo says Linda borrows James for a while as Pete's slave. Insert BDSM theory here.
Yeah, good.
Our friend Stephen Walpole,
yeah.
One of our fans, one of our listeners, would be very interested to see this. I'm sure he has all sorts of things to say about this.
Well, no, his standard comment would actually apply this episode.
Yes.
Yeah, let's be fair. Yeah.
A limo pulls up outside the lighthouse and the limo driver asks for Pete. Pete goes outside. Derek's in the limo. He's super rich and he's going to take the leprechaun home to Island. They've got all this bling. They're riched out and he's giving Pete a bucket of gold. He says, oh, thanks for all your work. And gives him a little bucket of gold. And then Derek leaves. Do you want to talk about your conman theory now?
So basically, Derek goes to give Pete his one little shiny piece of gold to reveal, the magic was true. It was wonderful. But here's the thing. In order to summon the rain, to find the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, he needed a tear of innocence. So in order to get a tear or a cactus flower dew or the mists of Hidden Valley, now there's no Brotherhood of Steel around. So, he's got to go make someone cry. That's the point. Is that in order to make money, he literally has to make a child believe in him as a rainmaker, right? And the leprechaun believe in him as a rainmaker, and then put on a stunt to make him lose faith in something almost like finding out Santa Claus isn't real, but worse because he had faith in a real person, to find out that person isn't real, make them cry, then steal that tear of innocence, blow it into the sky, summon a rainbow, and then only give him one coin out of what should technically be a third, because without that tear of innocence, you can't actually make
him a pot. Don't they give him a pot?
He gives him like one piece of gold.
Oh, I thought they gave him a small bucket.
He gives him one coin. One coin, because he has a bucket. And he's like, where did you get all this money? And it's just a bucket of gold. That was the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. He didn't give him anything more than one piece of gold coin. Now, it's kind of nice that they went back, I guess, and gave him a piece of gold.
No, it's not, because why did they leave in the first place?
Well, I'm saying it's kind of nice. They could have just left. That's the thing. They could have just left and not given him anything. But for the sake of the story, they had to do closure. But that's why I reckon he's a con man. I reckon that he's not there to make the rain. He's there to get cold. That's why he's with the leprechaun. He doesn't need the leprechaun to make rain. He's there with the leprechaun because the leprechaun can summon gold. He can summon rain. To put them together, though, they can summon magical rain together. They split the gold 50-50. And then give like one to the slave that they owned, which was Pete.
Okay.
So that's my theory.
Pete goes back inside to show his family the gold, and Gribbs cleaning out the gross twist crisper, which has all kinds of things growing in it.
As crispers do, because nobody eats from the crisper.
Because why would you do that?
It's full of vegetables. You would eat that.
Anthony is not a vegetable person.
I don't mind vegetables. It's just like, and then you go, oh shit, I haven't eaten that vegetable in a while. Is it good? Is it bad? And instead of throwing it out, you leave it in the fridge longer, just to be sure that when you throw it out, it is bad. Instead of you'll never eat it.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Pete's telling his family that the gold was there at the bottom of the rainbow, the end of the rainbow. And Bron says, the next thing you'll tell us is that a leprechaun gave it to you. And Pete says, believe what you want to believe. That's the end of the episode.
You didn't mention that Nell chews on the piece of gold?
Oh, yes, she did.
She tries to eat the gold. I feel like, I know that people do that to try to test that it's real, but I honestly think that she likes to eat gold.
Okay, because she's a demon.
She's a demon, and she collects souls and sometimes eats. Yeah, exactly.
The one thing that I took away from this episode is that at the end of the episode, Faye is still with Snapper.
Yeah.
Which is highly depressing.
Yeah, it is.
That's the end of the episode. Let's hear quickly from Pontillo what he thought about it. He says, watchable. A happy ending for most characters. Derek is able to make it rain. Leprechaun gets his gold at the end of a rainbow. Pete's faith is restored and wins all of his bets. Although, there are some characters that are worse off. Faye gets put under Snapper's love spell. Tony loses Faye. James has to be Pete's slave for a week. And Linda and Bronson lose money to Pete. It's when Azan loses in this episode, and he says 6 out of 10. Bowls of spaghetti and a pint of Guinness.
Good.
Nicely matched there, Ponty. Your turn, Anthony.
Well, I thought it was a very good, different story. I felt this episode was distinctly different to the other Round the Twist episodes. In, I don't know what you call it, structure, I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt it was a different structure, and the acting was lifted up by Bud Tingwell, who was actually good at acting.
Yes.
So actually, I gave this a 9 out of 10.
Wow.
Spaghetti. It was tight. It was good. It was tight. It was pretty decent. The only thing I would have liked to get rid of was the Faye subplot, because I would have liked to change it, because I liked the Faye subplot. It worked together with the story, because it made Tony go back to the lighthouse, talk to his son about, how we've both been betrayed. That sort of links up nicely. I did not like, however, that nothing's really happened with Faye. I imagine it's going to happen next episode, but it's a very important thing that you stop Faye and Snapper's relationship, because it's very destructive.
Yep. I thought about the same as Pontillo. I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was anything to write home about. 6 out of 10 bowls of Lucky Charms. With some spaghetti on the side, because that's how we theme our ratings.
Why not, eh? Lucky Charms with spaghettis, eh?
SpaghettiOs.
Spaghettios.
Anything else you need to say about the episode?
No, that's about it.
If you need to find us or want to find us, contact us, hear more about us. There's a bunch of different ways that you can do that on any of our social medias.
Yes. For starters, subscribe to us on iTunes and give us a rating and a review. It really helps us out, so that'd be really awesome if you could do that. Go to our website at talesfromthetwist.wordpress.com. If you ever want to send us a message, you can find us on Facebook at Tales from the Twists, or you can send us an email actually at talesfromthetwist@gmail.com as well. On YouTube, we're Tales from the Twists. Twitter, we're TFT Twists. And of course, if you really like the show, you can join the Facebook group, as we said before. Sorry, I just broke for a second. I was looking at Joe and his eyes were closed. It was almost like he was falling asleep. He must need another mother or caffeine, whatever.
I got Red Bulls today.
Red Bulls.
Feedback from the Facebook group this week, Chicken Twisties, as Anthony just mentioned. We've got one from our great listener, Hayden Redding, who says Tears of Innocence was one of his favourite episodes, as it co-stars the great Charles Bud Tingwell as a homeless guy with a leprechaun friend, and as I've mentioned earlier, it has Pete whinging and crying, like this season's Pete tends to do quite a bit, lol.
Yep, that's a fair up and description of this episode.
Lol indeed.
Lol indeed, I was much lolling.
Yeah, Pete is a little whiny so-and-so, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, you little whiner. And we do have feedback from Phil Bates in reference to our last Round the Twist episode, and he says, I'm no Melbourneologist, but it's about 90 minutes from Airlie's Inlet. He's talking about Melbourne.
Yeah. Because
we hypothesised that Melbourne was Bigville, as they refer to in Round the Twist. So, I don't think it's Bigville. However, I've been to Aries. Is it Aries or Aries?
Aries, we'll go
Why
Aries.
can't I just not read properly?
I don't know.
And he says, I don't remember any big villes within half an hour of the town. On the other hand, a lot of town scenes were shot in and around Williamstown, so maybe Melbourne is Bigville.
Yeah.
Very interesting indeed. And you, Anthony, Anthony Bull, Anthony Esblonius writes, I reckon it is the same way country or distant communities refer to most major cities as the Big Smoke.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. And
I
agree with what that guy Anthony said. He sounds pretty smart. And lastly, as well, there was actually some direct messages again from Samu.
Yes.
Yeah. From Finland.
Yes. Our Finnish listener.
And he submitted some more pictures, which were pretty cool. It turns out that he got these from, a DVD?
Yeah.
And he scanned them in. That's commitment.
Yes, he sent us some pictures of Journey from Down Under, which we probably will have posted by the time this goes up, or we'll coincide this with a post. We'll record this a little bit in advance. And yes, thank you, Samu.
I just like that he scanned them and sent them in. I thought that was like, that's dedication. That's commitment right there. That's cool. That's awesome. So good work.
Commitment to the cause.
Yes. Yes. Again, if you really like the show, you can join Chicken Twisties. It's on Facebook. There will be a link in the post notes, or notes post. And you join there, we'll add you in there. You can contribute to Pontilo's pontifications or the philosophies or anything, really. It's great people in that group. There's a lot of good conversations going on. So if you like the show, join it. It's the thing that all the sexy people are doing. And if you're sexy, you want to do it.
Yeah. I don't know why you always use that as the identifier for people that want to hang out with us and talk about Round Twists.
They're all sexy. They're very intelligent, wonderful people.
Yeah, I would have thought that intelligence would be the wanted attribute.
Well, everybody wants sex appeal, right? Everybody wants to be sexy.
No,
sex appeal isn't that
not everyone.
No?
I read this article about post-scarcity written by some economist or something that says in a post-scarcity world, which means where nothing is scarce anymore, everything is free. It's basically impossible.
A replicator world.
Yeah, kind of like that, except you would still have to maintain the replicators.
Yeah. But the point is, you've got such abundance of resources and replications.
Everything's free.
The cost is so small, yeah.
Yes, but this article was saying that in that post-scarcity world, everyone would focus on sex and everyone would try and get really buff and everyone would get really dumb. And he's saying there'd be a different faction based on intelligence. Anyway, I thought it was dumb because I thought a lot of people would just become gluttons.
I don't know. I feel like people would just I don't know necessarily that's true,
Because
because sometimes gluttony is actually a reaction to one's inability to control their own destiny or wealth or income.
Well, you've got nothing to strive for. You can eat, you can have sexual relations.
Eating
what
and
else
sexual relations and all those other
you
things.
can express yourself
even
in art.
anger and violence can be caused by a lack of power in one's own life.
I think a post-scarcity world is philosophically impossible because you replace physical resources, like actual resources, with other stuff. So, like art or stuff like that, other things that'll be in demand, attention, sexual, that they're going to become the resources.
Yeah.
So these are the things that are going to be wanted, and they will be scarce by very definition. So I think an actual post-scarcity is...
But it's like, if an actual post-scarcity world may not exist, but the question should then be posed, is it better to be in a post-scarcity world of common resources that are essential to life versus more higher functions like sexuality, intelligence, good looks? Would it be better to be scarce in that than it would be to scarce in food?
I think scarcity is fine. It drives people. It helps people like have a function to live.
I think
like,
scarcity is a part of life.
Yeah. It makes you work hard. It gives you purpose.
Yeah.
You gotta, do stuff to survive.
The thing is, I literally have no problems if there was a post-scarcity world for food and water, because it's food and water. It's like, whatever,
Thanks very much for listening to Tales from the Philosophy. My name is Joseph Lewis.
And I'm Anthony Bull.
Thank you very much for listening to this week's episode. Next week, we're back to talking about Capitaine Planète.
It's a French, La France,
Le Capitaine.
Yes.
El Capitano Planeta.
Spanish or something.
I don't know. Who knows? El Capitanos.
El Capitanos Planenitos.
Yeah.
El Grande.
El Grande Burrito. Dominatrix.
Yes. Much
Food.
of that.
Anyway, that is all we have time for. Thank you very much for listening. Have a great week. Stay twisty.